Hello, my name is Rhonda Ford Chapman. I'm the Vice President of Health Impact for the American Heart Association. The goal of these fireside chats is to provide opportunities for learning, particularly those who are seeking to scale their business models aimed at addressing social determinants of health in their communities. So let's begin.
Welcome to our first Fireside Chat brought to you by Eastern States Region of American Heart Association. My name is Arisha Smith, Chief Revenue Officer of Streamlytics. Today, we'll be speaking to two amazing entrepreneurs, Danyel Surrency Jones, co-founder and CEO of PowerHandz, and Andrew Suggs, co-founder and CEO of LiveChair Health. What's amazing and what we're excited about today is Andrew is a past participant of one of the American Heart Association Accelerator programs. So we're super excited to bring him back today, hear about how he has grown his business, and learn a little bit from both of these wonderful entrepreneurs. Let's get started. Our first guest I would like to introduce is Danyel Surrency Jones, CEO and co-founder of PowerHandz. PowerHandz Inc. is a global product tech company that designs innovative solutions for athletic training and rehabilitation. In 5 years, its core athletic training products have been sold to consumers in over 86 countries, established a digital footprint with millions of youth and professional athletes, skilled trainers, and professional sports organizations.
Arisha, thank you so much for having me. It is my absolute pleasure to join this fireside chat to encourage some entrepreneurs and empower them to serve.
Our second guest I would like to bring to the table is Andrew Suggs, CEO and co-founder of LiveChair Health. LiveChair Health is a barbershop reservation app that pivoted into healthcare after his father's health began to decline after a year and a half into the venture, eventually leading to an early death at the age of 56 in 2020. Suggs is a Kaplan University graduate and former Kaplan collegiate basketball player. He's had a successful career in sales, business development for major sports franchises, and a Fortune 100 company. He received his MBA in 2017, shortly before launching LiveChair Health.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak with some entrepreneurs. Very excited to get into this fireside chat today.
As a startup advisor, I have worked with many founders over the years. And what I've learned is they think that even though their business is not a tech business, they do not realize that their business can be tech enabled. What that means is all businesses can utilize different forms of technology to scale and to achieve sustainable growth over the years. This is extremely important for business owners to understand early in their building process of their companies so that they're able to continue brick by brick to create a solid foundation for their business as they're looking to scale, sell their business perhaps, build other businesses beneath it, or at the end of the day, find an amazing exit strategy. So, Andrew, Danyel, I'm asking you, since you guys are very successful entrepreneurs with advanced businesses, if you were to reflect back and think about when you were first building your business, when you were in the trenches, working very hard, trying to figure this thing out, what changes or what areas of technology, if any, would you have implemented earlier as you think about the lessons you've learned? Danyel, I'm going to start with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go straight for the real conversation, right? When we started this business almost 7 years ago, we had just gotten married. I had left an almost 2-decade career in corporate America, working with Fortune 500 companies like Medtronic and Philips Medical Systems across sales, marketing, operations, et cetera. And we then had our child and we had a 2-month-old, right, in the crib. And we're shipping out of our garage. That's just how real it was in the very beginning for us. Marriage, a 2-month-old in the crib, and we started this amazing new business. And when I think about lessons learned, right, I wish, and I'm glad because it helped us evolve to where we are today. But when I think about our sales and communications omnichannel, it was non-existent. we really focus in our business plan on how we're going to serve customers, what that market looks like, who's going to be involved. But we really didn't think about technology from day one, looking at a sales and communication omnichannel. And what I mean by that is, right, when we look at our sales omnichannel, we knew that we were going to sell on PowerHandz.com through Shopify. But what I didn't realize, right, that I had this channel of amazing opportunities with Walmart.com, Target.com, with Amazon.com. And now I'm able to serve and meet customers where they are, right? And then when I think about from a communication standpoint, I didn't realize through email marketing that I would be able to meet customers where they are through text message, SMS communication, Google ads, Facebook ads. So day one, I would encourage all entrepreneurs, when you're writing out that amazing business plan on how many units you're going to sell to how many countries you're going to sell them to, that you really focus on that strategic side of what does that omnichannel look like to meet them where they are. That's a big lesson for me, and I'm glad I've been able to round that strategy into our company 7 years.
Thank you, Danyel. That was absolutely fantastic. I think those points that you've made are dead on. And you know what? It's beautiful for businesses at any point in their ecosystem or in their path towards success to keep those things in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, Andrew, I want to hear from you. If you were to reflect and think back to young Mr. Andrew Suggs and how you were building your business, and I know that your business is definitely got a tech backbone because it is a technology platform, it's a technology app. But tell me, what would you have done different today from back then based upon what you've learned?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I started off as a non-technical founder. And so running a tech company, being a non-technical founder, there's a lot of things that you're going to get wrong just because you don't have the acumen. Mm-hmm. So if someone approached me 5 years ago and they gave me one piece of advice, if you're going to start a tech company, I would wish they told me, hey, there's a bunch of e-learning courses. Take one of those free e-learning courses or spend $30 just so you have a general understanding of the industry that you're making a foray into. And so that you can not get, pretty much messed over, especially if you're hiring third-party dev firms. Mm-hmm. I think that's number one. So basically go slow to go fast, because if you go fast and just jump into it and you hire a dev firm and you just, have all of your ideas and you just say, build this, 9 times out of 10, it's going to crumble. So I would say, hey, young Andrew Suggs, if you're not technical, there's a multitude of resources on the internet, free e-courses, free literature all over the web that you can rely on to really help you accelerate. And then I would also just implore everyone to just look at tools like Zapier. Zapier really allows you, especially if you're non-technical, to automate a lot of tedious tasks. And so when you think about scaling a business, the faster that you can get to automation, and the faster that you can get to optimization, the sooner you can get to scalability.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that, that's really a good point. Businesses, especially tech companies, you do have to have a CTO or a technical co-founder if the founder is not technical. And to your point, you have to be careful because even though your CTO may be very trustworthy, you might have a massive dev staff while you're trying to scale and ramp. And so it takes, more than one person to really monitor, watch the timelines, look at the hours, look at the process, troubleshoot. Because if you let developers go rogue, you never know, what you're going to come up with, because you're the one with the vision. They're simply just implementing at the time. So I think what you've shared is really, really great.
Thank you.
Now, my next question. This is a big one. In this past year, we have noticed that many houses of faith have been impacted by COVID-19. Think about it. These are situations where hundreds or even thousands of individuals are gathering in close proximities. But due to COVID-19, they've had to embrace technology quickly and rapidly. many of their worship or their meetups have become digital or virtual. Many houses of faith are saying that they have realized many benefits from embracing technology in this manner. They've seen offerings and tithings go up. Many of the members are more engaged than ever. They've created really tightly knit micro communities within the larger congregations and parishes. So this has been something that has been of excellent benefit to them. Now, Danyel, Andrew, I want to hear from both of you. How has COVID-19 impacted your business? How has it caused you to embrace technology or view it differently? Andrew, tell me about it.
Well, yeah. So we were always as you alluded to earlier, always a tech-based business. COVID disrupted our in-shop operations, in that one, the client volume was down. But then two, it allowed us to, or because the client volume was down, it allowed us to create a digital experience. So what we did in the shop, we tried to mirror that in our digital process. So because we were able to build this digital process, that allowed us to serve and reach more clientele.
That's amazing. That is fantastic. But tell me this, how has it impacted your bottom line?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's impacted our bottom line in terms of not being able to reach as many people as we were pre-pandemic. And, so as an example, if there's a barbershop that had a clientele base of, 500 clients, well, if we're building projections off of 500 clients, but then there's only 125 clients frequenting that barbershop or salon in the month, that definitely disrupts some of our operational needs. Also, some of our funding needs as well, just because we can't hit those numbers. So what we've done is started to look at digital ways. I think it's actually it's been a blessing, right? It's given us an opportunity that we didn't foresee we needed as soon. Because I think eventually we would have got there, but the pandemic sped that up 2x in terms of building a digital approach to mirror our in-shop operations.
Absolutely. So Danyel, you tell me, how did COVID-19 affect your business? I'm going to guess it affected it well, since people were not going to the gym and people were not working out in person, where they weren't able to go, to the basketball courts inside and work on, their dribbling skills and so forth. So you tell me, how have you guys had to react to COVID-19 and embrace technology either differently or in the same way, but just 10x?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. And first, I want to encourage the faith-based community. I am so proud that American Heart Association is even having this accelerator for them, because I think you're a perfect example of getting out of your own way. I grew up a Southern Baptist, and we went to church. I had my closeout on Saturday. We went to church on Sunday. I did everything in the church. And when I did not attend, that was looked at negatively, right? So from a pivot standpoint, I hope the faith-based community realizes that they've been able to streamline the household, because I get to church more often and on time.
How about
now that we have a virtual community? So now that pivots to my company, PowerHandz. You are right, Arisha. I am humbled by our strength that we displayed during COVID. I have not stopped since February, I think, when I came back from the Super Bowl at an activation, and then boom, we got the news in March. My life has been nonstop for a couple of reasons. One, we are, a mix of about 85% e-commerce, 15% retail, right? And while others chase the shiny object, I realized that model works. And during COVID, it absolutely worked for us, being that we doubled our sales. We saw over 100% growth during COVID, because we were able to be the one-on-one training tools for kids across multiple sports, basketball athletes, football athletes that weren't able to train with their coaches or with their team. They were now looking at PowerHandz to train within their garages and their backyards, and sending us videos. And we started a Train Inside, Train for the World campaign. It was amazing. And from a fitness standpoint, we then became that one-on-one fitness partner as well, being able to provide that not only product, but then going to the next point that we noticed, of course, is education, that training, those online masterclasses. I've been a firm believer of people buy and trust those who teach. People don't just want to buy your product or service or technology. They want to be compliant. They want to be engaged and really understand, how do I go from one level to the next level? And especially when it comes to sports performance and fitness performance innovation. So I was very happy that we could implement that into our model.
That's amazing. But it's I feel like there's something we're leaving out that I really want to pull forward. PowerHandz is a global company. PowerHandz has customers throughout the world in which you were shipping products to, in which you're servicing them. And I love that you incorporated more content. People had a lot more time to consume content and to work out and to learn different things during this time period. So I'm sure you have quite a bit of learnings on that. But tell me overall, how did the overall impact of COVID pass forward to you guys, or benefit? I won't say benefit, but benefit in a point in where you had to learn differently or activate differently.
Yeah. So it again, it really was a blessing. We were able to serve better, more efficiently, even throughout all the pivots. And, we had, prior to COVID, had sold into 87 countries. And to look at our analytics and to know over 200 countries visited our website in 2020.
Wow.
That is pretty special to me, because when I think about the mission of PowerHandz, right? We're not a product, we're a platform, and we want to impact the households. I want to touch the kid that's trying to make the team, all the way to the mom and dad who wants to go work out together. So when I think about what we're trying to do from a household perspective and technology perspective and distribution model, right? I'm really putting strategies in place to serve in the Philippines better, to serve in Europe better, to serve PowerHandz Africa better, to serve in Australia better. Now that the data and the analytics are telling me that people need and want our products.
Man, that is amazing. That's an excellent testimony. And I like that you said you were looking at your analytics, looking at your data, and making actionable decisions on it. Think about this. The benefit that houses of faith realized during this time period is they have quite a bit of data already. They were able to probably take that information about their membership, their parishioners, or however, wherever you worship, wherever they're called, and create micro communities or create experiences that they know is going to help their community thrive and grow in the larger community. They know where their people live. They know where their congregation members, they know how much money they make. They know how many children they have, what's in the household, what their habits are. So they're able to say, hey, brother, I know you guys, you got a household to run, and this COVID thing is going this way. We want to send you some love like this. It just, from what I'm hearing, because they know their communities, they're able to go back and look at the data, look at the information that they have about their congregation. They're able to super serve the membership to keep them stronger and have those congregations just tighter. So, I think that, Danyel, you brought that point up, and, walking it back to houses of faith. So I'm excited to see, of all those that are applying for the faith-based accelerator, they've already got a leg up. They've already begun to embrace technology. They've already begun to look at what they have. They'll probably be that much more successful as they go through the process. So that's just something to watch.
And Arisha, if I can just chime in here from a standpoint of, I really hope, right, the faith-based community understands how there's such a safe haven, right? When we think about the entrepreneurs that are going to church, that are going there to be replenished because it's a very hard job to do every single day, right? You have an opportunity to impact them in such a way, not just to restore their faith, but to teach them entrepreneurship. So
That's right.
I really hope, as part of the model, as a faith-based community, they're learning to be a better organization, right? They're also imparting a structure into their organization where they can tap into the entrepreneurs to teach them what they're learning, because that's where we'll find a lot of the moms who are single moms, right?
That's
who
right.
want to start their business, they're corpreneurs, who want to be entrepreneurs. And I just encourage them to continue to pour into them and to create that business model.
You know what? That's a very good point. Actually, in one of the previous workshops, American Heart Associations facilitated when they kicked off the faith-based community accelerator and opened up the application period. That's some of the things that the minister spoke about, that what they're looking to do is cultivate conversation about business, because they know that businesses, their congregation members that have businesses are actually creating jobs in the local community, those that are in the same congregation and in the surrounding community as well, which is huge impact. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because again, I think most or many may recognize that, but just let's keeping it top of mind and knowing that just a little bit of encouragement or providing additional education or ensuring that the congregation members have the resources, it's going to benefit them, time after time. Yes, Andrew, jump on in.
As a believer, I think it's a prudent. I think this accelerated one is phenomenal, because when you think about implementing business strategies or technology tools in the church, it only leads to more of a chance for you to love your neighbor. And what I mean by think about if you are able to use digital channels to showcase the bulletin versus having to print all these materials every single week. Now that allocation of funds can go to something else. Or if the church secretary now can use a project management tool or a Zapier to automate a lot of the tasks that are taking her 5 or 10 hours a week. Well, now Sally or Joe can go, serve in another area. So the digitization implementation in the faith-based communities, I think is going to allow you to just love your neighbor more, because you have more time and you have more, and you're using your resources more efficiently.
Right on. I don't have anything to say.
Love your neighbor more. I love that, Andrew.
I literally don't have anything else to add to that. I'm so glad you touched on all the right points. So now, my last question, this is kind of a little rapid fire round. If you want to call it founder must-have. So tell me, give me, 3 of the top 3 apps that you think many businesses should use on the onset as they are starting to build their legacy or build their company. Andrew, I'll go with you.
Yeah. Number 1, a CRM system. You have to have a CRM. You know where
break that down.
That's what CRM stands for, customer relationship management. You want to know where all of your customers are in their journey. And in particular, or particularly for the faith community, I think is an incredible opportunity to leverage your CRM to maybe, segment people by their needs. And so you can have someone that is responsible for different segments of your church, and then people are actually, move them through the pipeline just like a customer. So CRM, number 1, right? Number 2, if you're building a technology product, I would say Figma, but I think a tool called Whimsical is a little bit, it's a shorter learning curve, and it allows you to mock up and like wireframe things before you build them. Because one of the lessons that I had to learn the hard way is you want to do usability testing and you want to get user feedback before you write one single line of code if you're going to be able to build a technology tool. So these design tools allow you to do that. And then third, I would say a loyalty system. I think all businesses need some form of loyalty to keep that retention and to reduce churn. And I think loyalty is one of the best ways. A loyalty system is one of the best ways to do it. As an example, Starbucks or your favorite airlines, they do this brilliantly.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think that was a great answer. You kind of hit everything in a well-rounded manner, different pillars of the business. So Danyel, you tell me, what the top 3 tools or apps do you think most businesses or any business, and I like how Andrew brought in Houses of Faith, could utilize or should use in order to build and scale efficiently?
So I will start off with something that is so simplistic. So we all use these every single day. Oh, that's a picture of my daughter and I. However, do you really know how to use them effectively and efficiently, right? To drive your day. We are all very busy people. And when we think about the faith-based community, the phone is a way to connect with someone because you know this is attached to our body every single day, right? So how do you utilize your phone to make sure that, you know, if it is a quote or a words of wisdom for the day, right? I'm getting that. Well, I get that from my deacon when I was 5 years old at my church back home. I would love to get something like that every single morning from my church here in Dallas. Also in setting appointments, right? When you think about the ability to schedule Bible study on someone's phone, where it automatically pops up. So scheduling appointments, I do about 50% of my daily tasks and communicating with my team on my phone. So really understanding how to utilize the phone to effectively communicate and let it really work as smart technology, right? So that's my number one. The second, I would say, is something so easy, right? You know, Arisha and Andrew, you guys are so amazing, and I call the tech gurus, right? For the non-technical person, let's try this from a phased approach. So when I think about my business, right, and we think about our pathway to technology, let's phase it out. Let's start with QR codes. Number one, that is such an easy way to collect data and information and connect with your audience and your customers. So what we did during COVID is we started putting QR codes on every single insert that's in our packaging. And it helped in a couple ways because Amazon, you get no data from Amazon.
You sure do not.
The cons to the pros of accessing their billion-dollar universe of customers, right?
Yep. If you want to play with the big boys, you gotta pay. You gotta sow a seed. You gotta pay a price, and that's it.
So if you package with a QR code, right, you're able then to give incentives, as Andrew said, right, to scan that QR code. I'm now teaching because there are how-to videos in that QR code as well as discounts. So you can start, you don't have to go full-blown app. You don't have to go product integration. Start with the phase, and I would say QR codes. And then the last thing, and I have to give Arisha her props on this because I'll never forget a working session. And this is so huge, right? Use your community of brilliance to make you more brilliant. And so we had a working session to talk about my Google ads, to talk about my Facebook ads. And today I have a Google dashboard that I count on every single day. It lets me understand, and we think about a faith-based community, right? If you're going to advertise through ads on Google and Facebook, number one, you want to make sure your ads are effective, that you're not spending too much and reaching little customers, right?
Yep.
So your Google dashboard will tell you how effective your ads are, where you need to spend money, where you're getting the best return, what those data and analytics look like, and how they drive your messaging in your business. So
come
Arisha,
on, somebody,
for that pause, again, making sure your community, you surround yourself with brilliant people that will excel you to the next level.
As my minister used to say, amen, walls and lights. How about that? That is excellent. I love those responses. I love how you both broke it down in such a way that everybody and anybody should get great, meaty takeaways from this conversation. Now we've come to the end of our fireside chat, and this time flew by. You know, Andrew, Danyel, thank you so much for lending us your time and lending us your wisdom. This has been a wonderful session. If do you have any parting words or anything you want to say to encourage entrepreneurs or people who think they want to start a business, or the houses of faith that will be applying to this accelerator, you know, give us a little bit of, you know, encouraging words to close us out. Andrew.
Oh, you want? Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, you know, since we are talking to the faith-based community, Jesus said, "Count the costs." And I think, you know, obviously there's a spiritual element to that, count the costs. But I think it's equally important to count the costs if you're going to make an entry into business, because it is not for the faint at heart. There are challenges foreseen, and if you're not prepared mentally, spiritually, and physically, it will tear you down. So I would say, number one, count the costs, and talk to people that have journeyed down the path that you're aiming to travel down, and not only ask them about their success stories, but ask them about their failures, because I think you can equally learn more in the failures than the success. So that's number one. And then number two, just stay the course when things get tough. So if you do just count the cost and you decide to make that entry into the marketplace, do it well and stay the course when things get tough.
Excellent. I love it. Danyel, close us out with something strong, just as strong as what Andrew gave us.
Wow. That was strong, Andrew. Count the cost. I love that. Serving is hard. Serving is hard, right? It's the most selfless act that we can do every single day. So what I encourage you to think about is to channel, right, our ancestors. On the days that we feel like the plans don't meet where we want them to meet, the financial budget doesn't stretch to where we want them to stretch, channel your ancestors and dream beyond their borders and their dreams, and really reach. When you think about a faith-based community, the voice is meant to touch every household. So put models in place to make sure that that voice is touching every household in order to replenish and save lives.
Great.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Danyel, for that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you so much, Arisha. Thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you both. I know that our viewers really benefited and enjoyed hearing about your wins and your challenges with building your businesses. Next month, our Fireside Chat will cover financial funding for underserved businesses. So if you have a business, or if you know somebody that's looking to start a business and feels like they don't know how they can access funds, be sure to follow American Heart Association on all their social channels to be the first to find out about when the Fireside Chat will take place and to register. Also, please encourage your local houses of faith to visit empoweredtoserve.org to learn more about the faith-based accelerator from Empowered to Serve. American Heart Association is launching this for the Eastern States region, and the application period is still open. It closes April 30th. So please visit empoweredtoserve.org to learn more.